Alright, so I'm gonna do something interesting. So I've seen people do, what if this content creator was, the what if creator of certain videos was in My Hero Academia, Some of the people, I say guys as a general term, that's just what I say, that's just who I am, but some of them are not guys. Some of them are non-binary, some of them are females, some of them are, I don't know. I don't know. It's not my choice on what they are. It's their choice, and they make it, and hopefully they love their choice because it is theirs, and no one can take that away from them except for Trump because he's a dick and he will try. But don't let him because I hate Trump. For any of you guys who likes Trump, you're now no longer allowed to be part of my my family, which is what I'm going to start calling my subscribers, is my family, because I treat everyone who is a friend like family. And you guys are practically the only thing I have to friends nowadays, which is very depressing. I have a cup of coffee with me. I'm tired. It's 6:11 p.m., so it's 6 o'clock. I'm tired. I've been asleep all day. I had school this morning. That was fun. I made the honor roll again for the third time in a row for the past couple of years. I have a sub from this place called Kiki's. I'm going to be eating that eventually, but I want to get this over with. So, I was thinking to myself, literally, I was thinking, what video am I going to do? Do I want to do Wolverine Part 2? Or do I want to do Avatar Part 2? Or Iron Man Part... technically, it would be Iron Man Part 2 and Avatar Part 3. Do I want to do Lucifer Part 5? Do I want to do Zombie Apocalypse Part 2? Because I said I was going to do that to I told someone I was going to make Part 2, but then my phone kept on giving out on me, so I didn't record it. Okay, I'm rambling too much. So, wow, I cannot stop smiling. I would love, so I'm a kid, okay? As much as I say I'm a teenager, I'm a kid at heart. I always will be. I'll probably always love anime and always love Marvel and DC comics because it's who I am. I grew up with my older brother, always buying these cool, badass, comic books where he'd read them to me before we went to bed because we shared a room for like 8 years of my life. Funny story. I'm 15 years old. In 5 months I'll be 16. So in July, I think it's 5 months, right? Is it still 5 months? What's this month? I was about to ask Alexa, but she's not here. So, fun fact. When Iron Man 1 came out, I was 4 years old. 4 years old. It came out in 2008, right? I was born in 2004. 4 years old is when the first Iron Man came out. When the first Avengers movie came out, I was 8 years old. Those movies literally were my childhood. I went to them as a kid. I still go to them now. I can't wait for Black Widow. Sonic, I have to go see that because, honestly, it's looking really good. And they completely rehold the movie after everyone hated on the trailer. But enough with my personal life. Let's get into this. I'm gonna make myself exactly who I've always wanted to be if I had superpowers. I always wanted to be like the Flash. Okay, my favorite company for comic books is DC because I grew up reading their comics more, and their characters are more like their sidekicks are more my age. And I grew up reading, Dick Grayson when he joined Batman, all the way up to when, he separated and became Nightwing. Wally West, all the way until Barry died and he took up the mantle. Those characters I loved my whole life. Okay, so I always wanted to be a speedster like the Flash, but one of my favorite speedsters, who's considered a speedster but doesn't use the Speed Force, is Zoom. He's a Wally West villain. That's why I know him so well. In the TV show, Flash, they literally use two of Wally's villains against Barry. It's stupid. Zoom was Wally's version of Reverse Flash. He was one of Wally's closest friends, and he got paralyzed. Something happened, and he found out Wally had the powers. He wanted him to go back in time and stop him from getting paralyzed, but Wally refused because he saw what happened to his mentor. And eventually they became enemies, but he considered himself still a friend of Wally, and he did stupid things like killing people to protect Wally, and it was complicated. But his powers are literally the opposite of the speedsters in the DC universe. Their bodies are in tune with the Speed Force, which allows them to move super fast. I mean super fast. They can move faster than the speed of light. Zoom, however, instead of making his body move faster and react to things faster, he controls his own time. He basically controls time around him. He can slow it down so much that it makes one of the Flashes look slow to him. And, the only reason they can actually move and keep up with him is because they see this time the same way he does. And he can speed up time for himself and slow it down for himself. He can speed up time for other people, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that. I haven't read the comics in 3 years, so kind of on it. But I'm going to have that power, and my power is going to be called Zoom, which is going to be fun. But enough about me. Let's go to how I affect My Hero Academia's world. I'll be called CJ in this world. That's my actual nickname in real life. My family calls me CJ. My first name is Cam, or Cameron. I was named after a very famous hockey player for the Bruins, Cam Neely. And my middle name has a J in the beginning of it, so they just started calling me CJ. And that's my nickname. But that's what my nickname's going to be in this. I grew up along with Izuku. Izuku was quirkless just like in beginning. He never had a quirk. Everything happens the day of Sludge Villain up the same, okay? But the day before the day of the Sludge Villain, one thing happens that's different. Me and Izuku were hanging out. I'm his only friend, okay? I'm the only guy who stands up for him against Bakugo. And Bakugo and me don't get along at all. We're literally polar opposites. I find Izuku being quirkless making him a better hero, and I find Bakugo having a quirk makes him more of a villain. So I'm more like Uraraka and Ida. I'm on Deku's side than I am on Bakugo's, even though Bakugo, woo! But enough with that. Izuku and me were hanging out, and we were talking about superheroes. He was talking about All Might, of course, his favorite hero. And I was just kind of listening. We were just kind of sitting there talking when, I asked him, I think you'd be really good at this game. This is a game I play in real life. I'm a nerd, okay? I play Dungeons & Dragons. I don't play it that well. I've only played it like 3 times with actual, full-on Dungeons & Dragons players. And I've sort of played it by myself. But I say to Izuku, I think you'd make a great Dungeons & Dragons player. You have such an imagination and such an eye for certain things. So, I told him tomorrow, come over. I have a group of friends coming over to play. I'll make you a character. We'll hang out and we'll play. And he's like, sure thing. So, tomorrow, after school, when we both get out, Izuku looks at me and goes, do you want me to come over now? I mean, I'm free for the rest of the day. And I said, sure, let's go to my place. So the tunnel we take is closer to my house than it is to his. We're going down the tunnel when the Sludge Villain attacks. When the Sludge Villain attacks, it chooses to grab Izuku. I turn around to see it slowly wrapping around Izuku. I run over, and I grab Izuku by the hands and pull him out. As I pull him out, some weird things happen. I'm moving too fast that when I pull Izuku, his skin gets super heated up. And, however, his clothes are taking some of the friction off of him. But the Sludge Villain, his hands, go from a liquid to a solid because they got heated up super fast. It's like baking dough in an oven for an hour. It gets really crunchy. And that's pretty much what happened to his fingers or his slimy hands. And they kind of just crumbled and fell apart. I'm nowhere near a genius at all. My IQ is nowhere high. I don't even know what my IQ is. I probably could go get it tested, but I don't care. Let me take a sip of coffee because my throat's been hurting me the whole day. I would be drinking tea, but my brother doesn't understand the word that it is mine. So he uses my tea, and I don't like it. His arguments, you don't even drink the tea. And I'm like, that's bullshit. I drink it whenever I feel like it. I buy it. It doesn't go bad, so I drink it whenever I feel like it. Unless tea does go bad, and that would explain why I have stomach aches some days. Especially after drinking tea. Oh my god, does tea go... Okay, I'm getting off track, sorry. Okay, Izuku. As I pull Izuku out, his clothes catch on fire because we're moving so fast. And I pick him up and I carry him like a damsel in distress. I carry him about 6 feet away from the Sludge Villain in a matter of 6 seconds. The Sludge Villain doesn't even see what happens. I'm just a blur. I pick up Izuku and we're gone. We're about halfway down the street now as I'm still running. But I'm slowing how fast I'm moving. So I'm speeding up the time around me. I'm speeding myself up and I'm speeding up time around me and slowing myself down. So we're moving about under 50 miles per hour. And the Sludge Villain is behind us keeping up. And he's chasing after us and he's like, I'm gonna get your body, damn it. And your quirk's amazing, kid. I can't wait to get my hands on it as he stretches out to reach. All Might literally comes out of nowhere like a bullet from in front of us where me and Izuku are running towards. He skims Izuku's, back of his head with his fist as he punches the sludge villain right in the face, and you see the sludge villain pop like a balloon. And All Might just stands there as I turn around, and when I turn around, my shoes catch on fire. I'm trying to stomp them out. Izuku's fanboying over All Might. I'm just kind of sitting there, just tapping my foot on the ground, like, God damn it, why won't you go out? And then eventually, it went out. All Might turns around and goes, wow, kid, you're fast. You came out of nowhere. And then I realized he was talking to me, and I'm like, oh my god, it's All Might. And as Izuku's getting his book autographed, he's, happy. Then, this whole thing happens. All Might's about to leave, and Izuku grabs on, and I'm just kind of sitting there watching Izuku fly off. And I'm like, well, I guess that ruins D&D night. Gotta call the others. As I begin to call the others, we skip over to Izuku, who's talking to All Might. The same conversation happens. No, I don't think you can become a hero without a quirk. But there are many other jobs that, you can be, helpful in. You could be a police officer, a fire, medic. Izuku, slowly walks down the stairs, and eventually, I meet up with him. I finally caught up with him. He's kind of sad, and I can tell, so I'm like, hey man, I'll cheer you up. Dinner's on me. Let's go somewhere you want to eat, So we start making our way down to his favorite, ramen place. As we're walking, we hear a huge-ass explosion, and I think, oh, great, Bakugo's picking a fight with someone again. Then I see a pro hero fly by me, about to hit Izuku. I slow down time, grab Izuku by the shoulders, and pull him 2 steps back. Have any of you guys seen Harley Quinn, the new animated series? I literally saw the first episode of it. And I kid you not, after I'm done recording, I'm probably going to go watch the whole series, because my brother told me it was fantastic. And the first episode alone made me laugh so hard. They got the characters on spot on, and they show you a side that you want them to have, but it's more serious in the comics. Either way, I'm basically Izuku's, he's Harley Quinn, and I'm Poison Ivy. I'm always there for him. I'm his best friend. I'm pretty much his hype man, right? I follow him, I protect him, and that's kind of it. I help him from making stupid decisions. As I pull Izuku back, he freaks out, and Izuku turns and starts running over to see the fight, and I'm like, oh, great. As I slowly walk over to the hero, I bend down on one knee, and I help him up, and he says, thanks, kid. And he jumps over the crowd, getting back into the fight. It was Death Arms who jumps back into the crowd. As the fight continues, Izuku realizes it's Bakugo. I don't notice. I don't even know anything about All Might having, a time limit or anything, even though I do. But me, in characters, is sitting there, seeing Izuku run off. I don't notice he runs off until the second he starts clawing at the villain. As I slow down time enough to get past everyone and grab Izuku, as I'm grabbing him, the sludge villain hand is moving at, we'll say, almost 100 miles per hour. I'm moving around Mach 1, so it's super slow to me, like super slow. As I begin pulling Izuku out of the way, I trip over a rock that twists my ankle, and I can hear something go, and I hear snap. And I scream out in pain as I stop using my quirk and I fall down. All Might now sees me out of nowhere as he buffs up because he wasn't using his quirk until now. He sees 3 kids in danger. One of them ran out. He jumps out, taking the hit, blowing Sludge Villain away as I'm sitting there holding my leg. Everything happens. The swarm happens. They all swarm All Might, and I've been taken away in an ambulance. Okay, they're patching up my leg. I looked at them and I said, don't worry, I heal fast. And, the doctors and me started cracking jokes on my way. Before they put me in the ambulance, Izuku runs over and says, I'm so sorry, I got you hurt. And I looked at him and I said, nah, don't worry. You're just trying to fulfill your dream of being a hero. I can't wait to see that happen. As the doctors put me in the car and they look at Izuku and go, you got a really good friend there, kid. Don't lose him. As they hop into the truck, Bakugo is storming off. Izuku's walking away, feeling a little bit better than he did in the canon. But, out of nowhere, everything happens the same. All Might runs out. Young man, blah, 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 blah. It's exactly the same. Up until the beach training, I start noticing that Izuku has less time to hang out with me. He's been doing different stuff, and he started to ask me to go on jogs with him. So I said, sure, I can use a little workout. I'm 800 pounds and gaining weight. I'm kidding. I'm not actually 800 pounds. I'm 240. But as we're jogging, Izuku sees this old man and he runs up to him and he says, hi, All Might. I don't hear this. He rocketed off, so I'm not even bothering to keep up because, frankly, he does this. As All Might tells him to not call him that around civilians, I walk over and say, hey, you guys know each other? And Izuku says, yeah, this is Mr. And All Might extends his hand, and I shake his hand, and he says, Toshinori, Toshinori Yagi. Or Yagi Toshinori? Toshinori Yagi. And, he says that it's nice to finally meet me. Izuku's talked a lot about it, about our friendship and all this stuff. And then I get an alert on my phone. As I look down, I go, oh, crap. And Izuku looks at me and goes, what's wrong? And I go, nothing. I'm just supposed to be at home walking and feeding the dogs, and if my family realizes I'm not there doing that, they're gonna kick me out of the house and eventually drown my head into a pool of water. So I gotta go. As I rocket off, All Might starts laughing. Izuku doesn't know why he's laughing, but All Might says that he was just like me when he was a kid. His parents are always, super strict on him about taking care of the family and all that stuff. Izuku begins laughing, All Might and him walk off, and we skip to 10 months. Izuku's training is exactly the same, okay? He's exactly the same as he is in canon. The day of the test, however, Izuku gets the same. I am not smart, so I'll just say I get pretty average score. I beat it by maybe 6 points, 6 points less, and I would have failed the test. So I barely passed it, since if Kaminari can pass it, I can pass it. But Izuku, me, and Bakugo are sitting next to each other. I'm sitting in the middle because Bakugo can sort of tolerate me. He can't tolerate Izuku at all, so if I'm in the middle, he's calm. The two of them aren't talking, so Ida never stands up, but he does stand up to, yell at President Mike, who explains to him the zero-pointer. And we all go off to our separate things. Just like in canon, Izuku does that whole badass, destroying the zero-pointer in one punch. Me, however, as I run out into my stage, I don't see anyone I recognize. No one from Class 1A's in there. No one from Class 1B's even in there. As I'm kind of just standing there, bored out of my mind, I see a couple robots beating up this one dude who has a single eyeball on his forehead and super big muscles. We'll just say his quirk is called Cyclops, and he can gain, he's like Ant-Man, he can get bigger and bigger. And his strength increases and all that stuff. And I kind of smile, realize he's getting a little beat up. As I run over there, I walk over to see 3 robots. One of them's giving him a big left hook to his ribs on his right side, since he's facing them. It would be his right side if it's their left fist. The other one's hitting him with his right hand on his left side, and one is punching him square in the face with his left hand. I walk over to a building. I grab a pipe off the wall, pulling it at Mach 8. The pipe comes flying off, and the wall looks like it explodes, but to me, it's barely moving. I walk over, and I shove the pipe so far up one of the robot's ass, it pops out their eyeball. Grab the robot, and I push it forward, away from the Cyclops dude. I walk over to the other one, grabbing its fist that's punching him in the face, twisting it, making it punch the other robot. As I walk over to the other robot, I kick it towards the one that's punching it, and the two of them collide with such speed that they blow up. Cyclops man doesn't even see what happens, and I walk off. As I'm running around, just kind of helping out people, I'm gaining rescue points, and then the zero-pointer comes out of nowhere. As it's starting to roll, I just kind of see it. Not really too impressed by it. It's just a giant piece of machinery. And anything with enough speed and force can be knocked over. So I crack my knuckles, just like I just did, apparently. I take a running start from the entrance, run all the way, and I do an infinite mass punch, which is something in the comics that Flash and the other Flashes do often. Even Superman does it eventually. It's where you vibrate your hand or your body at just under light speed. That it makes the mass of your fists gain incredible, and it makes you hit strength of a white dwarf star. I hit the robot right at the tip of its toe. The robot's leg blows off as it starts falling down towards its face. And I realized what I just did put a lot of people in risk, so I slowed down time. Now I'm pushing myself. I can only hold my speed, slowing time down for at least 1 hour. We'll say I've been holding it now for 6 minutes, so I've been using it throughout the day usually. I usually use it, just during regular tasks. I use it during the test, which took about 30 minutes, so I'm almost completely out of time. So I use up the rest of my power and move myself at Mach 8. Running back and forth, pulling every civilian out of the way of where the robot's going to fall. Meanwhile, the last person, who's right underneath its giant fist, I'm slowly getting there as my speed starts to decrease. I push them out of the way just enough, but the giant robot's hand crushes me. I'm flattened by this robot hand. When Recover Girl makes her rounds throughout the buildings, she gets to me and she looks at me and goes, "Oh dear, that's not good." She kisses me on the forehead, and all of my limbs start to twist and bend back to normal. My spine rotates. Now I'm laying on my stomach. My neck sort of like snaps back into place. It's not like my head was twisted around. It was just kind of tilted, and it kind of snaps back into place. And a couple of that stuff happens, and she looks at me and goes, "A lot of your bones are still broken. It took a lot out of my Quirk just to heal most of your major injuries. Luckily, none of your arteries have been punctured, and you will survive." And I go, "Okay." Crushed under a bunch of rubble. I get dragged out and brought to the medics. Izuku's sitting there with me. He has a bandaged arm wrapped up against his chest, and the two of us laugh about this, having fun. Meanwhile, on Elm Street, Izuku and me, who after the 2 weeks have finally, Izuku gets his letter just like in canon, and I get my letter. I have a total of 50 villain points, plus 60 rescue points, plus 20 rescue points for sacrificing my own body for that girl. So I saved 60 people from the falling robot. Each person I saved was worth 1 rescue point, okay? So I saved 60 people before they got crushed by the robot, and that final person gave me 20 points because I sacrificed my own body. I'm, ecstatic. I have 50 plus 60, do the math, it's 110. Now, Izuku, he gets his, same score, 0 rescue points, 60 rescue points, 0 attack points. And he calls me up, he's like, "Dude, I made it, I'm in UA." I smile, I laugh, and I go, "Great, that's good news." I don't know anything about his quirk. I didn't even know he activated the quirk, so I'm super kind of confused about this, but I figured he could do it with enough determination and training. So I'm kind of just thinking, good for him. He deserves it. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Bakugo is happy as all hell. He's pretty much throwing a fit with his parents because they won't let him go out and celebrate. But then we skip to 2 weeks and we get to Aizawa's test. When I get there, I am looking Aizawa dead in the eyes. Me and Izuku are walking in together. Bakugo's already there. Before me and Izuku can even enter the room, I look to looked inside the room, look down, and I see a giant banana. I'm questioning why there's a banana on the floor. Meanwhile, Izuku's being questioned by 2 people, a group of people now. And all of a sudden, Aizawa stands up and says, "If you're just here to make friends, then go away." And I look at him and go, "Oh, it was a sleeping bag. I could have sworn it was a banana." The only one who hears me say that is Aizawa. It brings a smile to his face for a quick second, and then his smile then fades into a weird grin as he begins to laugh and says, "Alright, put these on and go outside. Whoever comes in last place is leaving." He doesn't give any more, instructions besides that. Everyone else is super confused. I just follow him, put my clothes on. As we get outside, Bakugo goes first because he has the most points, even though I have 10 more than him, but that's because of, rescue points. Bakugo chucks the ball. It goes flying. It's my turn. I grab the ball. I smile. Look at him. As I spin in a circle, creating an F5 tornado. Everyone else is being sucked in. They're dragging their feet across the ground. And Aizawa's, super confused on what's happening. As I finally let go of the ball, it rockets off at about Mach 12. Straight into the orbit, and I get about 120 meters, and Bakugo is pissed off. He looks at me and goes, "You damn cheater." And I go, "What?" He goes, "You used momentum." I said, "No, I used my quirk." And everyone else is dumbstruck. They're like 100 and something meters. I completely forget the number I said. What did I say, 110? I don't know. 110 meters? Does that sound good enough? Either way, Aizawa was impressed. Everyone else goes, and then it gets to Izuku, who, just like in canon, Aizawa, picks on him. I get a little bit upset about this. Aizawa can see that I'm a little angry, so he kind of cuts back on Izuku just a little bit. But Aizawa takes it into consideration, and he looks at Aizawa and he says, "You're right, just like in canon, if I can't use my quirk, to protect others because I keep damaging myself, blah, 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 blah. Does this whole moving speech as he chucks it, and he gets whatever he got in canon. I don't even remember what the hell he got in canon. Everyone else is looking in shock, especially me and Bakugo, who know he didn't have a quirk. Bakugo is, how the hell did you get this damn quirk? As he begins to run, I just slow down time just enough that I walk in front of him, put my foot out, he trips, I walk back, Aizawa uses his quirk. Bakugo makes a tiny explosion in his hand as he face plants into the ground. Everyone laughs at him. I start whistling. Aizawa looks at me and goes, I saw that. And I go, saw what? I don't know what you're talking about. Aizawa looks at me, smiles, then starts to laugh and goes, alright kid, you're good. Everyone else get to class. Bakugo, meet me in the principal's office. No one's being expelled. It was just a irrational deception, whatever the fuck he says. Momo does her whole, yeah, I can't believe you guys didn't know that. Even though he was totally expecting to expel someone, and she just said that. I don't know why. God damn, I love coffee. It keeps me awake. Alright. Holy crap, it is 6:36. I've been recording for some 26 minutes. Let's end this off with element training. And see if you guys like this one. Alright, so Izuku and me are Izuku, I'm in replace of, we'll say, who's a character I don't like? I can't choose. There are a lot of good characters. Let's just say I'm an extra person, okay? And so the multiple arm dude, he decides to sit out, and it's me and Todoroki. Todoroki plans to just use his ice, but before anything can happen, he's All Might says go. Todoroki starts walking into the hallway and begins using his ice. I run straight past him around Mach 3, which sends a gust of wind hitting him in the face. I run up and down the building, searching, coming all the way back and say, they're on the very top floor, north room, near the furthest window, across from the building. And Todoroki looks at me and goes, okay, why do you know this? As I'm holding the bomb. I go, because I grabbed the bomb and won for us. Todoroki looks at me and goes, huh, step aside. As I slowly move around him with the giant-ass bomb and place it down on the ground, Todoroki stomps with his ice just to detain the villains just in case. But when we get a quick glance at Invisible Girl and Tail Dude, we realize that they are both tied up already, sitting on the floor. Now they're being frozen. All Might looks at the two of us and goes, huh, you guys make a great team. He goes, alright, hero team wins. You know, all that stuff. Everything happens the exact same except for certain events with me. So it's going to be kind of boring series. But, let's do this. Izuku. I also want to do a series where instead of being a hero, I'm a villain. So maybe I'll do, like, what if, this is probably going to be called What If Hauser Was in UA. Or What If I Was in UA. Probably be better. But, it's probably going to be one where it's like, what if I was a villain in My Hero Academia? Where I'll give myself, like, a super strength quirk and, be on the villains team. That would be pretty fun to do. But everything happens the same to the USJ part, okay? And I'll start the USJ bit in the next video. Peace, guys. I'm heading out. See ya.